Hey, in most Western countries, your local government reminds you about property tax once a year. Some quiet envelope you forget in a drawer labeled later. In Israel, the city already knows everything about you. Before you open a business, before you buy furniture, before you even breathe in the new space, today's episode isn't just about taxes, it's about a system that knows you have air conditioning before you declare it. A system where a Facebook ad can cost you tens of thousands of shekels. A system where one municipal officer can kill your business before you issue your first invoice. This isn't a thriller, this is Tel Aviv. This is Arnona. Let's begin. In the US or UK, your local tax is a boring once-a-year notice from City Hall or the council. In Israel, the local tax has a name, a personality, and teleportation abilities. It has a system that knows your place is 84 square meters, not 78. Because it added the elevator, the staircase, and part of the corridor outside your front door. It knows you changed tenants because someone reported it. It knows you're opening a business because a sign appeared on your door. It knows you installed air conditioning, and it charges you for it. That's Arnona. It sounds like an aunt from Bat Yam, but works like a mix of the IRS, City Hall, a surveillance bureau, and a moral authority. Because in Israel, your address has a price. There are no universal rates like in many European or American states. No nationwide standard. Every district, every building, every floor has its own price tag for belonging to the city's ecosystem. Now imagine you're running a business. You rent a small space in Tel Aviv. 38 square meters, good location, near the train. You have clients, you have invoices, you have momentum. And suddenly, you have a letter, not from the IRS, not from a court, from Iria Tel Aviv, the city of Tel Aviv. They write, due to commercial use of the property, your Arnona rate is X. Please pay all outstanding amounts from the date you began operations. And you think, but I didn't register anything. And they say, we saw your course advertised on Facebook. And that's enough. In Israel, a Facebook ad is proof of business activity. They don't need an inspection. They need an inbox and a social media account. In the UK or the US, that would be like your city council charging you commercial tax because you posted an Instagram story of your pizza with a promo code. In Israel, that's Tuesday. And here's the key. This isn't a joke. It's the system. A system that works faster than the IRS, stricter than a building inspector, and more influential for your business than corporate tax law. Arnona isn't one of many taxes. It's a local loyalty test, because Israeli municipalities aren't extensions of the national government. They are independent players with budgets, agendas, and political leverage. And they collect payments like their survival depends on it. Because it does. You know those TV shows where the mayor knows every developer, every shop, every renovation? That's not fiction. That's Tel Aviv. That's Jerusalem. That's Bnei Brak. That's Netanya, Ramat Gan, Afula. Every Israeli municipality from Naf Hagalil to Eilat, little states within the state. And their strongest weapon is Arnona. So before you open a company, before you sign a lease, before you say, this will be my office, you need to ask one thing. Does this place want me? Because if it doesn't, you'll pay. In money, in time, in nerves, maybe in reputation. This episode isn't about rates. It's about understanding that Arnona isn't Excel. It's mentality. It's a relationship with power. It's a cultural code. In the next episodes, we'll show you how Arnona works, how it's calculated, how to negotiate it, how to use it, and how not to let it swallow you whole. Because in Israel, running a business begins with one question. Do they want me here? And ends with a bill from Iria saying, whether they do or not, you're paying. How your address decides who you are. Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Jerusalem, Be'er Sheva, Afula. 5 cities, 5 different stories about how much a square meter costs. And we're not talking about buying property. We're talking about existing in the system. Every Israeli municipality sets its own Arnona rates. There is no national tariff, no federal guidelines. Just the local authority, Iria or Moatza Mekomit, acting like a fiscal freelancer, and you're its client. A mandatory one. What is Arnona? Arnona is a tax on using physical space, residential or commercial. Everyone pays. Owners, tenants, renters, entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter if you have a villa in Ra'anana, a tiny flat in Bat Yam, or a spice shop in Acre. If you occupy space, you owe Arnona. And no, it's not land tax. It's you exist here tax. The more desirable the district, the higher your value. What affects the rate? Location, district, street, building number. Usage, residential, commercial, educational, religious. Size, sometimes down to decimals. Building standard, elevators, parking, floor level. User status, senior, startup, NGO, disabled person. In Tel Aviv, you might pay 10,000 shekels a year for a 100 square meter apartment, but 35,000 for a shop of the same size. In Bnei Brak, half. Why? Because Arnona is political, not just fiscal. Real-life example, Ronan opens a cafe, 48 mars, rent, 6,500 shekels. Happy? Preparing the launch? Boom. Arnona bill, 15,000 shekels a year. Why? High tourist activity zone. A sign on the window counts as a business indicator. Air conditioning counts as value. The city database says it's a commercial premise. Conversation over? Now imagine you're a company from the US or UK. You found a great place in Jerusalem. You go to the municipality website to check the rates. You find hundreds of pages, tables, districts, sub-districts, codes, obscure units like logical unit for zone B3C12. Without a local partner, you're defenseless, because Arnona is not a tax. It's a power map. Municipalities use it to attract the businesses they want, push out those they don't, shape demographics, reward loyal groups, penalize unwanted ones. In Western countries, your address says where you live. In Israel, your address says what you're worth. Arnona doesn't care about your income, your personal situation, your plans. It assumes if you're here, you can pay, and your presence has a price, sometimes symbolic, sometimes devastating. Before you think, I'll open a business in Israel, the first step isn't finding a space. It's checking the Arnona map of that district. How local authorities profit from your dreams. Imagine you found a perfect place, signed the lease, started paperwork, didn't even buy chairs yet, and the city sends you your first Arnona bill, thousands of shekels. For what? Potential commercial use. In Israel, you don't need to earn to pay. You just need the theoretical ability to earn. This is availability taxation. If a space could generate income, you pay as if it already does. Example. Adam from the UK. Adam rents a 67-meter tower space in Ramat Gan for a photography studio. Needs renovation, submits paperwork. Isn't operating yet. And he gets a bill, 12,000 shekels a year. Why? Because the system sees him not as a business in preparation, but a business in position. And that's enough. Appeals? Good luck in theory, you can appeal. In practice, you need architect documents, owner declaration, a professional opinion, and ideally, a friendly official who knows the system. If you're alone, you lose. Because lonely players pay fastest. Arnona isn't just tax. It's urban control. Municipalities use it to reshape the economy without changing any laws. They don't forbid you from operating. They make it too expensive. In Israel, before you put up your sign, you're in the system. Before your first client, you have a bill. Before you open, you're part of the grid. Here, possibility is taxed earlier than profit. How the Israeli City Hall plays IRS, city planner, and intelligence service in one. In the US UK, City Hall means permits, zoning, maybe trash collection. In Israel, IRIA means tax authority, planner, building inspector, advertising regulator, licensing body, cultural office, infrastructure manager, and Arnona enforcer. It's not a department, it's a player, with its own budget, enforcement unit, and agenda. Example. Michael from London. Michael opens a designer boutique in Neve Tzedek. Before he finishes unpacking, Arnona bill, then an inspection because the space used to be registered as an accounting office. Then his sign is blocked, wrong aesthetics for the district. Then a fine. 2 bag stands outside were classified as public space occupation. This isn't bureaucracy. This is an ecosystem. IRIA knows who was there before you, your Facebook page, your Google listing, your square meters, your neighbors, your potential value. Every address is a metadata cluster. If you don't pay in Israel, bank account freeze, equipment seizure, public debt notice, blocked licenses, administrative enforcement without court. Fast, automatic, without reminders. In the West, you say, I'm going to City Hall. In Israel, City Hall already came. Discounts, that's politics on paper. Discounts, seniors, disabled people, new immigrants, students, NGOs. Looks simple. Reality? Discounts aren't rights. They're privileges, awarded through relationships, cultural codes, and local belonging. In Tel Aviv, a young freelancer fills out an online form. Rejected. He goes in person, talks to Eli, leaves papers, discount approved. Why? Because Eli knows the system. In Israel, the discount isn't given because you qualify. It's given because someone decides you belong. In some cities, discounts are tools to keep populations stable. In Jerusalem, heavily tied to religious communities. In Tel Aviv, tied to politics and networks. The biggest secret? Discounts aren't about eligibility. They're about someone wanting to grant them. Final message? Before you sign anything in Israel, ask, does this city want me? Because if it doesn't, you'll pay. This episode is just the tip of the iceberg. Arnona isn't a table, it's a mindset. About identity, control, and loyalty. The best weapon? Knowledge, and knowing which room Eli sits in. If this episode made you think, subscribe, leave a comment, share. And if you want the real numbers, the tricks, the exceptions, the next episodes are already on the way. See you in Jerusalem, Beersheba, Afula, and room 1312.